All right, I wanted to do this video to show you how my workflow for making metal in FL Studio. Um, I just didn't want to make some clickbait thing like before. That was just to get people interested, a little appetizer, if you will. So I'll get right into it. I have a template that I've set up. It's a hybrid template that I can record metal and hip hop or rap, make beats in. We have the playlist here. I've got two arrangements set up in my template, a beat arrangement, it's a 4-bar loop, and a song structure arrangement for metal. This is just a standard intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, breakdown, and then interlude. I have a bunch of patterns already built in that I can drag and drop into my playlist. I have one waveform. I'm mostly a VST program guy. And this is just a sub that I made in Harmor. Harmor's great. In the playlist, I dedicate all these tracks to sections. So I start out in the top section. I have swing, where I can program the swing with automation. Then I have tracking. Tracking is like when you record live instruments, audio, stuff like that. That's here. And I have my guitars, drums, stuff like that linked to these tracks. So I like to link playlist tracks to mixer tracks. That way any audio I drop on that track in the playlist will go to a track in the mixer, dedicated track. All right, then I have a sound design section where if I want to print out a waveform or whatever from a VST, I can further manipulate it. Sometimes printing out waveforms saves CPU. You trade RAM for CPU, right? And then let me turn that off for now. Then I have a mixer section of my playlist where this is all of the tracks for mixing, where I sum everything down the buses. And then I have a mastering section. I have an automation section as well, where I'll put some automation. Down here I have all my mastering. So we'll run through it here in the playlist. I have all of my tracking here. This is like microphone. I'll connect this to my DI. So my mic inputs, my guitar inputs. I use a Focusrite 18i8. And then we move to just sound design stuff, some Foley channels, some general sound channels, perks, rides, hats, snares, kicks, 808s, subs, pianos, and synths. Then I have my acoustics. Then I have bass guitars. I have two, one just purely clean, and then one that's a metal bass. Right here I have guitars, then vocals. Then I have my metal drum kit. And then I have the buses. This is an acoustic bus, bass guitar busing, guitar busing. And then I have a room that I build out of Fruity Convolvers. One's a close room, and it's just reverb, and one's a far room. Then I have my actual mix bus. Sum everything down here. So you can see what I have along here. I'm not going to name it all out. And then what I do is I have my mastering bus here. This is where my mastering busing. So I have a pre-mix bus that I feed into this mid. And then I take this mid channel and separate it out into a side channel. I send that side channel out separated into left and right. So this way I can process left, right, side, or mid all independently right here in the mixer. Then I send everything back to a mix bus. Then from that mix bus, I send everything to my own mastering bus where I do limiting, and so it's basically just limiting by the time I master. Then I have two reference tracks, okay? And this is if I want to reference anything. I hardly ever reference anything when I record, when I'm mixing, but sometimes it's nice to have a dedicated channel for that. Now, here's the true master, FL's master. And the only thing I do is monitor on there. See here I have an instance of span, just so I can look at the overall frequency spectrum and the loudness and such. All right, now to move on to the plugins that I use. So for guitars, for electric guitars, I use Shreddage 3 Hydra. Beautiful. Great engine, man. They really went out of their way with this, man. They spectacular job, I just gotta say. Go buy it. So here it's an 8-string, and in reality, I use a 7-string down tuned to A and a 5-string bass down tuned to A. The Hydra allows you to go even deeper than that, obviously, but I don't. So what I do with the guitar, I'll finish with the plugin. So the bass, I also use Shreddage 3 Abyss. It's a 5-string bass. So I have 3. I don't use the 4th one. I have 4, but I use 3 guitars double tracked. And when I say double tracked, obviously, since it's programmed, there's no need to like truly double track. What I do here is, if you look, go to the console, they have a neck pickup and a bridge pickup they've recorded in. So I send each one out to a mixer track. So you see here, it's like 2 in 1. If you look here in the wrapper, I have 168 as my track. So if we go there to 168, right here, 168, that's guitar 1 left. So you see 1, my bridge pickup is on guitar 1 left. 2, the neck pickup is sent to guitar 1 right. And I do that for all 3 guitars, all 4 really. Okay, now I'll show you this even though I'm not going to use it in this example. I also have an acoustic guitar. I use ample guitar, and I do it similarly. I have a left and a right. Okay. Oh, another thing, if you're going to do multiple guitars in Shreddage, you need to come in and say you're multi-tracking. So you can have this as guitar 1 and then so guitar 2. If you look here, I've got this as guitar 2 and so on. So that's the guitar and bass. For drums, I use Addictive Drums 2 with the Modern Heavy Ad Pack. And I process that. Here you can go into the processing on the wrapper. And if you see here, we've got 45 set for the plugin as the mixer track. Well, if you leave one of them on null, which is no send, it goes to 45 default. And then from there, you can send out from your wrapper point mixer track on, it adds to it. So the snare here is on 45 plus 2, which is 47. So the snare's sent mixer track 47. Now, you do that so that you can have more control over your individual kit pieces inside of your DAW. You can also process heavily. Now, I keep Addictive Drums panning, and lately I've been keeping the processing for the kit piece. I have done my own processing per kit piece, and you can get great sound. If you want a different sound, that's totally fine. You can totally do that. But I found that I can get a better, I can get a more out of the box sound and just jump right into it. And I just bought this Modern Heavy Ad Pack, so I haven't really had much time to play with it. I also have another, just for some other like random stuff, a piccolo snare, another ride, two different rides than what's in my other kit, some chinas and splash cymbals. Okay, now there's one more VST that I use to control everything, and that is this. It's called BRSO Articulate. Wonderful plugin. This guy Blake Robinson, he's doing good stuff. So from here you can choose a port, right? So I chose port 60, and then you go into your wrapper of your plugin, and you can set which input port controls it. For MIDI, here it's 60. So you do that for everything right? We'll go back to guitars. I'll let you look at that. See, 13 for the clean bass. This bass here, look, 13. The reason I use this plugin is because if we go into the piano roll for it, what you can do is you can name the keys. FL should make this standard, right? You hold shift and you can click, and then you can type your name in and it appears here on the key. That helps with these plugins because they have certain like key switches and stuff built into the plugin so that you can do specific things. Like if you look here, look, staccato, power chord, staccato, up here. And I just like having that data available to me directly in the piano roll as I program. Right? What's going on here? I wonder why I can't see it. It's weird. All right. So I do that for everything. I have one for the bass. I have the guitars. And then you just save it as a template. Right? Come here. Save it as a preset. Go click the down arrow. Save preset as. Right? And I got my presets here. And then you can bring it up and control your VSTs that way. And I do that for bass, guitar, and drums. Beautiful plugin. I do use some other processing plugins, and I'll get into later after we record after we do our tracking. All right, so let's get into it. I actually do not play and record in, and I found I can get a cleaner sound if I program. And I do like to record in sometimes, and I've had some really complex guitar parts. I will record those directly in for DI, track them myself, and then do some amp sim. And that reminds me, amp sims. So for electric guitars, I use STL Tonality Josh Middleton. He's the guitarist for Silosis. The guy's got great tone. He's got a great ear. These are great plugins. You definitely should buy these. I use that for all my electric guitars. Now, for my bass, I use STL Tonality Will Putney. There's bass tones in here. They sound great. You should use those. And for the bass, I split. So I send the bass in here, and then I use FL's frequency splitter to have a low-high split. The low, I keep clean. It's a clean bass channel for really powerful, punchy lows. And then the high, I distort so that I can get a nice gritty metal bass. So if I play some bass here, just to show you, let me get back to there. This is the low. This is the high. So it's a beautiful bass sound. That's how I process the bass. Okay, let's record. And I do just want to say that sometimes I'll try to make a video and it fails miserably, so then I go back to record and I already have the idea worked out. That's the case here. But this, for writing your guitar parts, I've had this since I was, 19. I was at a local venue, seeing a guitarist just shredding. I mean, the guy was amazing. I asked him what his trick was, and he said mushrooms and the guitar grimoire. So I bought the guitar grimoire, passed on the mushrooms. This has exotic scales inside with charts. Now, all the charts are represented on a standard tuned 6-string, but you can transpose it, obviously. Mostly what I like to use is the harmonic minor, right? In its modes. You see its modes listed right here. Let me get closer. Get past that microphone. You see its modes listed right there. And then it shows the intervals and even chords you can use, right? It's beautiful, man. Beautiful. You need to get this book. All right. My guitar pick of choice is Dunlop Jazz 3. I love the point. Nice precise picking. So let's get to it. Let's create our idea. It's built out of one of the modes of the Hungarian minor scale. By the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. As I said, what I like to do is program my riff. You can get a nice, clean, precise sound, which is very important for extreme metal. All right, so we'll come here. You hear that? So here you have this section here where you can choose your articulation: harmonics, tapping, choke, power chord, mute, power chord staccato, power chord sustain, or just a single note sustain, mute, staccato. So at first we do these hammer-on pull-offs, sustain, right? Legatoed. You're in legato mode by default. So when two notes overlap, you do a hammer on a pull-off, right? So that gives us, so what we need to do here is, since it's nice quarter notes, I believe, pull over a bit. So our scale is, by the way, 0, 1, 2, skip 3, skip 4, 5, 6, skip 7, 8, 9. All right. That would be the corresponding fret on your fretboard of your guitar. So we come down to, right? So then we come down and we went 2, 1. All right, we're going to bring that back. We're going to bring this one back because we want this one picked, this one picked. Right? So what we're going to do here is for these two, we're going to change to a power chord sustain. Right? Now let's take this, copy it. Right? So then we changed. Here I did a 12 to 9. Nope. I did a 13 to 9, 12 to 8. Come on. Sometimes I have communication issues with my mouse. And then I went 1 to O. 1 to open. All right. Sweet. Now, what we want to do is we want to Control A, highlight all, Control B to copy. We'll do 16 bars. Now, here's the magic. We're going to come here to our tracking, right? I mean, our playlist. See, we're in guitar verse 1. Here, we can stretch vertically here. Oh, I already made a mistake. You see here on the bass 1 verse, I programmed it into the bass pattern. You don't want to do that. So we're going to take cut, go back to the playlist, click verse 1, bring the channel rack up, paste. There. Now we're going to copy this, go to guitar verse 2, go to guitar 2, paste. Go to guitar 3, paste. Now, I'm going to show you the reason why I do 3 separate guitars, double tracked. Here's how they all sound together. Uh-oh, we're missing guitar 3. Oh, I see why. We don't want to delete that. What we want to do is cut that and paste it here. All right, here's why I do this. This is why I have 3 separate guitars. Let me pull over here. So, man, God, that's killing me. Wish FL moved this or made it larger. I had the ability to make the scroll thing larger. So here I have my guitar 1 bus, guitar 2 bus, guitar 3 bus. Here's all of them together. Here's just guitar 1. Here's guitar 2. Here's guitar 3. So, I don't know if you can tell, but I like to process my guitars in specific ways. So guitar 1 is a fuller bodied hard pan set of guitars. Not so much gain, just right in the sweet spot. Guitar 2 is a hard panned, really gain heavy, fizzy sound. Now guitar 3 is straight up the middle, very little gain, so much so that you can hear a lot of pick attack, like near the middle. All right, and it gives a nice wall of guitars. Okay, now for the bass, we're going to copy this, right? We're going to have the bass play what the guitars are playing. We're going to come here, we're going to paste, we're going to go into this. We want to delete out the articulations. It's going to sustain by default. Come here, highlight all of this, bring it down an octave, right? Now, we have this. It's literally that simple. All right, now, I'm not a great drummer. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to come up with a pattern to program the drums forward tip. That's good enough. You get the gist? I'm not a great drummer, but the beauty of programming is you don't have to be. Right? So we're going to come in here, highlight our drum, come to our drums, piano roll. So we're going flicky diggy diggy diggy. Turn this one down a bit. Realistically, your left foot's not as powerful, right? So we're going to lower the velocity on that hit. What we want to do is raise the velocity overall. Get some nice powerful kicks. Oh, forgot. 16th notes here. Bring that one up a bit. All right, so we're going to go do-do-do-do-do-do-do. So you have an open hit, rim shot. You see how hard that rim shot sounds. So rim shot, you actually hit a bit of the rim. Most drummers not going to play consistently hitting the rim. You do that like every now and then. Sometimes it's intentionally done. What we'll do though is do it every 3 times or so. Change it up. See here in a moment. So we want to hit a cymbal. I love to just max out the velocity on the cymbals. Sounds so good. Right? Let's come down here and we're going to put a hi-hat in. All right. You want to highlight your hi-hats. You said they're all the same volume, the same velocity. A drummer would play with some variation. So you can highlight what you want, hit Alt-R. Turn off this pattern section. It might be on by default. Come to your levels. Turn on bipolar or off. Bipolar just means that it'll adjust your velocity or whatever you tweak here up and down. If you don't have bipolar turned on, it'll only go the direction you say. You see? Yep. Here it only goes up, down. I turn bipolar on. Some go up, some go down. So we'll turn the bipolar on and we'll tweak it just a bit here. Now, see? They just kind of push and pull a bit. Let's bring this over. We'll bring this in and we'll go to hit T here. That hits is slightly more open. We want to turn that down a bit though, so it's not overpowering. And we'll take this and make the rim shot here. Now, copy that, paste it, 16 bars. Now what we want to do is we're going to highlight the drums, the kicks, except for the first kick. We're going to leave that on the grid. Then we're going to come up here to the wrench and we're going to humanize. Beautiful feature in FL Studio's piano roll. The three main important things here are going to be your seed, your start time reference, and your start time range. I'm going to choose 1/128, so 128th. And we want to lower that because we don't want our kicks to be, this is going to move things off the grid and give them more of a human played feel. I really don't want to shift the kicks that much. I want them to kind of be close to the grid, right? So if we come in here, you can see some of my kicks are shifted. Now, we'll do a different one for the snares. And I wish this had a hotkey, Alt-H. It'd be beautiful, but oh well, you can't have everything. I'll turn that down even more. Now here for the hats, you can get away with a bit more. Because when a drummer plays, the hats aren't always dead on. So what we're going to do is switch that to 1/64th, turn it up a bit. Now, and what I want to do is take every other symbol, change it to a different symbol. So we're going to go high, low. That simple. There, we have a metal riff. Now you keep going, you build a whole song for the sake of the tutorial. I'm not going to build a whole song, but you get the gist. All right, now the mixing. So you can mix however you want. I like to do my bussing a specific way, but one of the most important things is here on the mix bus, I'll put a bit of saturation, just a bit, just a touch. And I like to, on the master channel, use Emphasis, which is a new plugin from FL Studio. It's wonderful. And it's just a limiter, a mastering limiter, super transparent. Right? And then I have a limiter here, just as like a catch-all, set at -0.4 dB. And then on the master, FL's master that goes out to my monitors, or when you export and print your sound file, I put a frequency analyzer. Then one more thing I like to do is, in the modern metal, it's nice to have some sub bass. So I've got my sub bass here. I programmed that. Might have mentioned that already. Harmer. Check it out. Actually, I did the sound design, not program, sorry. So here you hear it. You'll see I have this plugin here, TDR Nova. If you pull this up, it allows you need to download this. It's free. This is like one of the best free plugins ever. I'd pay them $100 for this. So you can come in here to the processing and the Fruity Wrapper. You see this sidechain? Make sure it's on, and then you can choose something to affect it, right? I have the sub bus. So what's happening here is on the drum bus and the bass guitar bus. If you look at the sub bus, I have it sidechained to both of these tracks. That's so that when the sub bus hits, the low end of both the bass guitar bus and the drum bus dips by 3 to 6 dB, just depending. That way the sub is powerful when it hits, and it's not clashing with the frequencies of the bass guitar and the kick drum. If you come in here and you look, you have your monitor for your output. Oh, one more thing you have to do is come here to the sidechain and set it as exterior sidechain. And then this monitor here monitors the output of the channel it's on, so the bass guitar bus. And here you can look at the sidechain signal. So this would be the sub bus. All right. And that's it. That's a tutorial. So I hope you can take this, and I hope you make some metal. And when you do, send it to me, because I need more metal. I love metal, and we've hit a point where metal's not as creative anymore. A lot of my favorite stuff was in the 90s and 2000s. A lot of the bands that I love come from that era. And I still do like modern metal, don't get me wrong. But it's lacking creativity, diversity at the moment. And hopefully I can do more series like this to show you more in-depth things, and all in the effort to make metal great again.